Hello everyone and welcome to another Murders at Karlov Manor draft, and we have this as a first big rare option among with the land. 4 mana 4/4, 2 colors, legendary. Other creatures you control have haste. Now that is strong. And then when one or more face down creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. When a face down creature you control dies, return it to the battlefield face down. And then you can turn it face up if you want to. Okay, well, that's a really good one. um, because there are so many face down creatures that I'm gonna play this thing. Also, with 4 mana 4/4 that grants you other creatures haste. That is good too. It's worth picking a 2-color card as a first pick. This pack does have some good other good cards, but that's 2 colors, 2 colors. Yeah, okay, easy pick. Let's take it. Move on. And then we have Case of the Locked Hothouse. This is really good. If you have 7 lands, it doesn't do anything if you don't, because the additional land, playing it is nice, like very early in the game. But you can play this usually on turn 4, and then you might not have even the lands to play. So I'm not taking that. There's a decision between Shock and Nervous Gardener. I think it's easy to limit the options to those two. This thing has Disguise, so it of course is beneficial to combine it with Disguise creatures. So as much as I like Shock, I think I'm taking the Gardener. It also allows me to splash this thing if red won't be open. I can still play a base green deck that can splash for the Yarus. Well, there's an Insight Source, which you could take, but it doesn't really combine well with my first picks. Granite Witness, I like it quite a bit, but also doesn't combine with my first picks. Now, Vengeful Creeper isn't that great. Suspicious Detonation isn't that great, but I'm probably taking the Creeper because it is something to combine with the Yarus also. So let's just take it. It's not the greatest pick 3 by any means, but I wanted to do that. Alright, do I want to take a Mythic Rare for collection purposes? This doesn't really do anything in Limited. I mean, it can do some very minor things, but it's not really a good card. I could take it just to, like I said, collection purposes, set completion purposes. But there's an actually good card in Person of Interest in here. There's a Breakout 2. I guess this gets slightly better when you have a bomb like a Yarus. I think this is a bomb, at least very close to a bomb. But usually you don't really want to pay 2 mana to get a creature. Of course, if you get a cheap creature, you can just put it on the battlefield. Even get a nice hasty attacker. But I think the Person of Interest is the card I'd rather have here. I could just be a straight up red-green deck without any splashes. Well, unless I get something very worthwhile to splash. I think I'll just take another Gardener here. At least I'm prepared to splash something. The Chase is on is good, but I think I can have some combat tricks later in the draft. It's only pack 1, pick 5, so I will have multiple opportunities to find combat tricks. This is interesting, but I'm not quite going to consider this as splashable. I mean, it is a splashable card, but you have to kind of have a deck that can put a lot of creatures in your graveyard. I don't think I'm gonna do that with the red-green deck I'm currently drafting here. Alright, there's some white stuff. There is this expensive card, expensive removal spell. I don't think I have a lot of ways to sack artifacts in this particular deck. So it's gonna always be a 5 mana deal 4, which is weak for a 5 mana, especially at sorcery speed. So I'm going to take now the Chase is on. Right. By the way, the Assassin's Trophy isn't that great because you don't really want to play this on the first 5 turns, for instance. Giving the opponent a free land is not great. So So I'm not even considering splashing this despite having 2 ways to enable a splash. I'll take the scapegoat though. It's a nice 1-drop menace guy. I got the breakout here, but I of course did not. This is not the same one I saw earlier. Should I? No, it's not so good. It's just not very good. I'd rather have one of these tricks, maybe even the crowd control warden. But maybe it's just gonna be... Let's take the alibi now. To have like one of each. And here, I could take the warden. I can never cast this... Well, unless I put one basic planes in the deck, I can't cast this as a 5-drop. But I don't think the lumbering laundry is that great either, so I'm gonna take this guy. Knife. The mask maker is just not a good one. I'll take the knife. I don't think I wanna main deck it, but it could be something I, when I know I'm certainly the aggressor, I can sideboard it in. Because it doesn't do anything on defense. Even the +1/+0 doesn't work on their turn. Take the glass here. Magnetic Snuffler. Well, this can get me an equipment card back. So I suppose if I play the knife, that's an option. Expose the culprit. I have some number of face-down creatures. But I'm not quite convinced this is really what I want to be doing. It doesn't seem like a very good card. But this pack seems like a very good pack. Well, maybe not very good, but I'm taking the Green Belt Radical, which I like the most. It's a nice thing to do at 4 mana, if you have to. 4 mana 4/4 is a respectable stat selection for a creature. And then of course you can do the disguise thing and then just win games with it. Hellion, Person of Interest. Don't think I care about the Dronesmith. This is not very good. It's too much to get 5 counters on it. It's very hard to do it 5 times. Anyway, let's take this. Blood Spatter Analysis. When this enters, 3 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Whenever 1 or more creatures die, so any creature, mine or their, mill a card and put a bloodstain counter on this thing. Then sacrifice it, if it has 5 or more. Return target creature card from... Okay, into your hand. Alright, well, it's okay, but I'm not sure if it's the kind of card I just want to splash when I have the options to take another Radical, a Shock, or a hard-hitting question. I would take all those 3 over the other green cards in here. But am I supposed to just take the Radical? Not try to make the disguise overrun effect work? Okay, I'm taking this, but I guess I could use some interaction at some point. I have a playset of these. These are from War of the Spark, so you don't have to collect them again. Okay, there's a Fanatical Strength, but there's also the Culvert Ambusher. I think I'm not gonna play the Warden, but I will play the Ambusher. That's a good idea. There is also a Killer Among Us, which is not a bad card at all. I think I still take the 4/5, but you could choose either of those. I wouldn't mind having another one of those Fanatical Strengths at some point. And that's a card I could pick from this pack, because I have enough 4-drops here. I don't really need the Eavesdropper particularly, so I'm gonna take the Fanatical Strength, and I hope to get a few more cheap cards in here, which I haven't really been able to get yet. I mean, other than the 2-drops that I don't necessarily even want to play on turn 2. But I guess if I don't end up with any kind of a splash, it's not so bad to not get the land. I don't think I need the Braggart or anything. I'll just take the Alibi. Number 2. Well, I suppose my creature count is quite high. I can play multiple pump spells if I don't fight the red removal. I have found some red removal spells. I would just choose not to pick them. Alright, so here I have the options for the 2-drops, or just taking a Glintweaver, which is really good. And I have 2 things to allow me to get more mana. To relieve the past isn't good at all. Could take one of these 2-drops just to have an early drop, but I'm taking the Weaver now, and now I'm gonna focus on 2-drops from now on. But I'm not gonna take a Sanitation Automaton. Fanatical Strength. I don't think I need the Strength right now. I'm taking these just to make sure I will have 2-drops. Crime Novelist works in a glue deck of some kind, but this is not that. I can play both modes, but I'm not that interested in them. I might actually just take the Inspector, but I could also take this as a sideboard card or this as a sideboard card. But I think I just want to have one of the 2-drops now. I have so many expensive things that I actually can buy time with a 1-3. Rift Burst Hellion. Well, I guess I can take one of those. And well, this pack had a lot of those interactive spells, but I'm somewhat. There was a shock, and then there was the 4-mana bite spell, but I got the 1-mana bite spell, which I'm happy to have. I got the Fanatical Strength number 2 here. I haven't got many red cards, I know, but I think there's no reason to try to move to any other color combination anymore. That can be a really nice one. Yeah, this already gives you 1 card and 1+1/+1 counter, and then the more ways you have to draw extra cards, this can give you more. That's a really good card to start the draft with, but not gonna be a splashable card here. Am I gonna take a bite down on crime here? Well, I'm not taking the automaton, pick one, so I'm just gonna take one of these. I think I have enough kind of removals spells here now, and I'm very happy to take the Fugitive Codebreaker, 2-mana, 2/1 prowess haste with the disguise option if you draw this later in the game. But I need 2-drops, and this is one of the better ones, so let's take it. And another Inspector. I don't take the Detonation. I have enough ways to interact. I don't have a ton, but it's enough that I don't want to play this kind of a clumsy removal spell. But I'll take another Inspector to make sure I can hold it until my big things enter. Alright, I would really like to have the Shock. Cheap removal spell here, but 10 Street Gossip will be very good with all the stuff I have. I have so many disguise creatures, and I have so many 4-drops too, but this can also be disguised. So I'm taking the Gossip, but I would really like to have a Shock. It's just that this is gonna be better in the deck, no matter what. A lot of these knives going around. Well, no surprise, it's not exactly a good card. Do I want to have a cease and desist just to be able to destroy all artifacts and enchantments against the kind of decks that, have those things en masse? Or I just take a pick a poison, more like also as an anti-flyer tech. I think I'd prefer that option. Okay, I got a shock, and I'm really happy about this. That I still got a pick 6 shock here. The Cornered Crook is good if you have some number of artifact generating. I don't, so let's take the shock. And Felonious Rage. I don't need this pump spell. I have other pump spells I'd rather play. The Rope is a thing I can. Well, I don't think if I'm gonna sideboard it in, but I guess it's an option. Case of the Crimson Pulse. This I think is a good one. Let's see what the other options are. Well, nothing too amazing. Discard a card, draw 2. To solve, you have no cards in hand, and then you keep drawing. Yeah, I mean, this I think I played against this card in some draft, and I was really in trouble whenever the opponent had this. Yeah, none of these will be interesting anymore, so I'll just take something. The chase is on. Well, I do have the option to now play. I can really choose between the pump spells I have. I have 2 Fanatical Strengths, 2 the chase is on, and 2 Airtight Alibis. That's a lot of options. I guess I'm gonna take the Detonation now because I definitely don't need the Braggart. I also have 1 Braggart already picked, and I didn't even main deck it. Okay. And 1 more card. All the knives came back. Well, this seems quite simple. Do I want to start with the suspicious detonation in the main? I don't think I do. No. I'll make some cuts and that's the deck then. How good is the scapegoat in a deck like this? I think it's actually not so good. So let's cut it after all. And then Vengeful Creeper, Ambusher. I think this thing will be quite often a 3-drop, and I think these radicals can be 3-drops, but it could be either way. I think I'm playing the Person of Interest. It's actually quite good with the Mass Pump, with the radical. That is now only a few 2-drops, but I can, if I need to play on the Gardener on turn 2, I guess I can use a Shock to get rid of an opponent's early drop. 2 cards will be needed. This is now 15 creatures, so I'm not going to cut any creatures in here. So, type creature. All the things in the top floor here, they will be in the final deck. These radicals can be, they can easily be a 4-drop, but well, it doesn't matter where I put it in here. It does not. So it's gonna be a selection of these pump spells. Which of these I want as 2 copies and which at 1? Because I have 2 more cards, and the cards are definitely gonna be from among the Fanatical Strengths, the Chase's Arms, and the Airtight's Alibis. So I will cut 2 of them, which means that because I don't want to cut, I don't think I want to cut like both copies of any of these, but one of these will be left at 2 copies, and I think the Trample is going to be the most useful one. So one of the Alibis and one of the Chase's Arms will be cut. This will be pretty low on red, but I think it's still, I'm gonna have to play a lot of red producing lands in here, despite the, the lack of kind of a balance here, color-wise. But I kind of want to be able to play the Codebreaker early in the game and the Shock early in the game. The case of the Crimson Pulses. Yeah, when this enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw 2. You can just do that. You don't have to wait until you have an empty hand or so. But when you solve this, well, you can only solve if you have played everything from your hand. But when it's solved, then of course, you basically get 2 cards every turn, but you really want to use them both, because you have to discard your hand in the next upkeep. But yeah, it's worth it. It is worth it. Most of the cards I can play at 3 mana, after all. So this will be the main deck, with some options for sideboarding, but I like this quite a bit. And the balance between mountains and forest is probably not going to be this. 7 mountains is enough because I have 2 green cards that require green, but they can fetch me a mountain. So 7 should be fine. And that's the main deck. On the play with no way to get the red, but the surveil helps a little bit, so I'm gonna keep this. This can be a disguised creature. It does mean you can't have the 5 mana option to have it as a 5 mana 5/5 if you disguise it. But then again, maybe it can find a clue token or maybe something even more impactful than that. The opponent did also mulligan here. But yeah, let's surveil into a land. I don't think I can really. No, I mean, ideally a mountain, but yeah, let's just get rid of anything that's not a land. That is going to give me the 3-drop, so I'm going to still keep the forest, even though I would have preferred a mountain. White and red. Now, it can be pretty aggressive. Right. I don't want to do this 3 mana option unless I have no other play to make. So the question is what to do, and the answer is attack with the automaton and just, you know, play the inspector. If I'm very lucky I drew a mountain and can play the person of interest, but we'll see. Oh, I actually was very lucky. Now if I'm going to... I'm not attacking with the 1-3 here, so I'm just attacking with the 2-1. I'm not gonna play the mountain pre-combat. I don't think it's gonna make any difference. I'm gonna happy with this trade. And then I can play this. And I can just wait until I get my 5th mana and then I can play this as a 5-drop. Unless they, of course, you know, play an artifact or enchantment I want to get rid of. This is a problematic creature if they can collect evidence for. But before that happens, I can just attack with my guys with the pump spells I have around. I think everything can attack, yeah, easily. Now that they're only taking 5, not much I can do about it. I'm not gonna alibi right now, I'm gonna wait to see what they do. This thing has vigilance though, that's very sad. And there's no point playing this as a disguised creature, because once I draw 1 more mana land, I can just cast it as a 5-5. So am I going to eat the tracker if I can? It's a little bit risky, of course. I think I'm taking the damage here. But I do want to remain mana efficient, so I'm actually going to still do this. My menace guy. Oh, this will not... Oh, okay, it will actually lose the suspected status. So maybe don't lose that, but have this one happen in here. And now I can, of course, attack with these guys, no problem. And I will play the Vengeful Creeper if they don't make any blocks, and if they make a block, I'm not that sad about it. And all I need now is to have a 4+ power creature to go through, and I will win with the chases on. But they have blockers now. Okay, they have definitely blockers now. I need a trample trick also, but that's not what I'm getting here. So they can just jump block with this, but that's not a problem. I do have the 1 trick, so let's see. If I attack with the person of interest, they can double block it so that I don't get to trade at all if they choose to block it with the consultant and the hero. But that of course leaves them a lot of other blocks that are not so great. And I can still use the chases on that, so actually I wouldn't mind it at all. Which means that I'm going to attack with everything but the 1-3. And let them do the hard work here. All the creatures you control have indestructible, but not vigilance. It will have vigilance itself. So they have to now block this 4/4 or they will just lose the game. That jump is easy because they will get a treasure clue token, but they will also have to block the 4/4. And they chose not to respect the pump spell, or maybe they just realized that they're not gonna win through a pump spell anyway. But this will win the game now. Okay, white red. Well, I have some of these early blockers which might be very needed. This will be a very bad card against that deck because this won't work on my turn in any way. Pick your poison. Doesn't seem to do much. I think against that deck I will rather have the Earthite Alibi than the Chase is On. And of course the double Fanatical Strength. There is one other way to deal with the rare they had. Unless they get to make it a 5-5. But I suppose I have some ways to deal with it regardless. Yeah, I think I like the remaining cards in here. So I'll just ship this deck. They keep 7. I have a decent hand. It does require 1 more mana. But I got it right away. I do play 17 lands, so getting a 3rd land isn't that hard in here. So here it's just going to be the Codebreaker, which I'm going to of course attack with because this might probably will be flying on the next turn. Then I can have the Gardener. That's annoying. Guess I'm gonna have this in the as having a blocking duty. Gardener now so that I can make sure I will hit my land drops. The Ambusher might do some good work. It is also an ETB. You don't have to do this via disguise. So next turn I will most likely play the Hellion disguised of course, and then I can use the remaining mana to turn this Gardener face up, so I can get my 5th land regardless of what I draw. Okay, so I'm gonna just block here. Let them use their things. It wouldn't be the worst idea to trade with a 2-2 because this is just a 2-2. But I do want to have the land now that I don't have the 5th one in my hand. Not to mention I also need the 7th one at some point. There's a Fanatical Strength. That's nice. And this is the best idea. I will have Forest up. I'm not attacking because I do want to be blocking here. I have a bunch of expensive stuff in here. They did miss their 4th land drop, which means they have a lot of spells in hand. But that also means they have a harder time to use the clue token. And now what I can do here is of course... this is perfect. This thing can block here. I get my land and then I can actually eat. Well... Whoops, let's take the mountain. Actually, they have the automaton here, so I'm not gonna eat anything. I'm just gonna play my 5-5, because I could make one of their creature block this turn. Oh, but if I make the inside source block, they will have to... If they want to trade with this guy, it's also going to be... It's gonna be a double block. And I mean, yes, it is gonna be a double block in that case, but they will both be dying here. There's also this artifact creature, but I don't think I'm gonna go with the trouble of disguising this and all that. I'm gonna actually do this. Just make them block. I really... no, not this one. This one has to block. So now they have the option... I mean, they will most likely double block it, of course. And I'm going to lose my 6-7, but I have the Clint Weaver and the 5-5 here coming up, and now they have basically no board presence. Yeah, that's the only reasonable thing they should be doing. I lose my, very significant creature, but I think with the hand I have here, it's not gonna matter. I have multiple big things coming up, even if they find removal for this 4-5. And the Fanatical Strength can help me win the game. And the Clint Weaver will gain me a bunch of life. I do need one land for this thing, of course, but I can play the Surveil. Or maybe I don't need to even cast this because this is now 9 damage. I can make them deal 12. I'm not quite having lethal, but neither are they. Neither are they. They can turn this face up for 5 mana and it can be 5/4, it can be a 3/2 double striker, it can be a flyer, but that's only a 4/3 I think. It might just be something small, of course. So I'm thinking about if I... Okay, it's that, but... They get to fly here, but... they have... Okay, that does mean they have a +3/+0 and first strike, and since I have a fanatical strength, I probably am supposed to not block here. It is annoying. It definitely is. But I try to just... I really wanted to get the 7th mana, but I guess this is not the worst. None of my guys have reach. This would have, but I don't have the mana for it. If I attack, I don't have a lethal attack, so I'm gonna play this and have the fanatical strength. It would really be tempting to actually attack with the 5/5. Can I do that? So if they take 5, they might have the +2/+1 on every one of their creatures. And in that case I would lose if I have only 2 blockers. I don't just like the fact that they can still attack in the air. I kind of want to make it so that they are going to lose on the next turn. So I'm gonna do this attack, and I will accept the fact that I will lose to a +2/+1 mass pump effect. But now I can block the 3 power creature, and I can block this 3 power creature, and the remaining stuff. Well, that will actually be enough to beat me with the card I just played around. You know, the +3/+1. No, +3/+0 and first strike. That will actually be exact. Sees. They can kill one of my guys, but I guess that's 5, so I can save it, but if they have the +3/+0, I will be losing the game. They did not. Well, I guess they were just doing this post-combat on the previous turn. Yeah, that's right. This thing has vigilance, by the way. That is useful. Now, if I can get a land, that would be great. Now, this thing doesn't help cast the Clint Weaver. I would get like a 8 life on the next turn. It is a shame I had to use the Fanatical Strength, which gives the trample on their turn. They want to flip this thing, but they actually lose both of the ground guys. Well, that is not a land, but I should play it and discard the Automaton. Yeah, this is a little harsh now. Alright, but this gives me 2 life and an extra counter, and it can block a thing there. Oh, this is really good, of course. Now, I don't need to show them that I'm basically at 7 now. So, but since I can cast this now on the next turn, I don't have to be taking any stupid risks. If I attack with the Gossip, they can block it with the 3/1, and I should maybe attack both. This thing has vigilance, but they are gonna trade with it, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I can make this into a 5/5. It doesn't actually help. They can also block with the 2/1 just to jump and get a clue, but I don't think that matters too much. Let's just attack still with the I'm gonna attack with this guy. I don't need the mana for it from it anywhere. Either they block it with 2 guys, and then they have, of course, fewer attackers, or I can have it as a block. This is fine. And land, and this thing, I will, of course, collect evidence. 6 is... It doesn't matter, I don't think I have anything to... I'll just take the Hellion. And who's gonna pick up the counter? I think the counter is gonna be picked up by the Inspector itself. And now the Clint Weaver is gonna distribute some counters, and I'm gonna get a lot of life. Oh, they have another case, and they can kill the Inspector. But do they have a trigger for the Phantom? That's another question. If they have a 1-drop, then they do. I guess it could be a land and a 2-drop, which it wasn't. Alright, so they can attack to flip both of these, or activate both of these. Well, trigger, solve these cases, but of course attacking into this board would be a suicide. This alibi will be really good, but should I just get like a ton of life in here? I'm gonna play this, and I'm going to give a number of counters. Maybe like 1 for each. That's the least life I can get though. Maybe the ambusher gets 2. This gets 2 and... oops, like... I'm gonna do it like this. 2 in here, so I get 7 life here now. And I will of course be doing some attacks. They have a total power of... Well, they do have a free block with the 2-1, but I have to get past it regardless. They have to block one of these guys. I think with 14 life I can do this attack. Let's just start pushing now. They have to make jump blocks. They can only do 1, but with this amount of life I don't think I care about it too much. Ah, they have a pump spell. Or what is this? I mean, they're not gonna get a clue here because I'm not going to. I don't have to allocate more than 1 damage on the bystander. That's actually good, but they are gonna have a trick of some kind. Well, I don't mind. All right, now they're doing that, so I cannot kill more than 1 of them. Are they taking 6, or do they have an exalt target attacking creature effect? Okay, so I think I'm gonna assign 1 to here and then the remaining on this consultant. They will be able to save 1 of them. And they can choose which one they... No matter how I assign these blockers, they can choose whichever guy they are gonna save. So, whatever. Unless I want to like assign 5 in here on the consultant, but then they will always get to save this. Yeah, there's no point in doing that. Let's do it like this. I don't think it really matters. Actually, it does matter. I was a fool in here. I was really a fool. Okay, well, I was supposed to do it exactly in the other way, because now they actually got the clue token there. I could have done it the other way around, and then they wouldn't have gotten the clue. I don't know why I thought that was a smart idea, but oh well. Are they gonna kill the Clint Weaver and then also kill this? They can't do it all with just 1 card. That is a good one. They don't have mana to do this double Yeah, they can do it. Okay, this thing has reach, so they can't even attack right now. Well, they can, but they will lose the creatures. They have to now make some. Ooh, this is going to be really good. Of course, I am attacking with both because I'm going to do the alibi here. That will untap a creature. Because I want to solve my case. So I will play this disguised, of course, because I will be able to win on the next turn with the trample effect. So that's that, and let's make this thing like this, so that I can solve it. And now I will get some extra cards. Of course, I don't even need the cards because if they don't remove this radical, I have a huge trample attack coming up. They can do this thing, but it is actually not going to matter. +1/+1 counter on each creature I control, and all my creatures gain trample. Okay, there is that, and this is just gonna be game over like this. Indestructible doesn't matter against trample. I can just trample over a bunch. That was that, and it was against one of the feared decks of the format, the white-red aggro deck, but I guess my big green creatures can hold them off. Okay, I'm on the draw with this 5-lander, but shock can kill something early, and this can give me some 2-for-1. I don't like it, but I'm keeping it because I do have the early play. Of course, I need to draw non-lands here, but we'll see. Well, so much of that. Okay, they have no early plays other than the wrench in there. Let's play the Inspector. I don't think there's really much reason to save it until later. I will most likely disguise this thing. Well, maybe not, because there's an option to just... Alright. I can disguise it on the next turn. I'm gonna kill this guy. And it was a... Bubble Smuggler. Okay, so do they lack the blue mana? Seems to be the case. It's about time to draw the... Maybe they wanted to... Maybe they actually wanted to first crack it and then play the land, because they play the plains before cracking it. Anyway, now this thing can... I can turn it face up on the next turn, and they will force someone to block. And this is a 4/5, so it's a huge creature. It's actually annoyingly not huge enough. This doesn't enhance my power. No, I can get rid of this. It is... Oh, actually I can't even, because it costs 5 to... Ooh. That's an annoying thing. I really thought I could have eat something, but they had the 5-drop that has 5 toughness. So if I flip this up, I don't have the mana for the hard-hitting question. Well, I mean, that's that. I'm not gonna do this turning face up thing. That's a good one. So let's just not attack then. When this attacks, they may sack an artifact to draw a card. So if they have some clues here. Ooh, this is really annoying. They're gonna get the +1/+1 counter on the criminologist. But I'm also attacking back a bunch, so they don't... I mean, they don't have to attack, of course, to get the counter. They will always get the counter. Alright. I'm extremely disappointed. I thought the game is really in a good shape, but they got this one huge creature that totally is getting that is outclassing my creatures. Well, there's nothing I can do here. I'm not attacking in that board. And I can do this thing on the next turn, but it's not really going to help. Especially if they keep drawing extra cards, which they are. Yeah. How can I get rid of the criminologist? I can get one of my multiple pump spells. Okay, you know what? This is a sick combination. They're gonna get, what, 3 extra counters on someone? I hope they do put it on the scholar. I really do. Because I can then get rid of it with the one card. Although I can't, because it will be 5 toughness. Okay, that's not nice. Can you imagine? This is ridiculous. I can't do anything. I can't do anything in here. This flipping isn't gonna do even much in here. This has vigilance. They can attack and block with it. Oh. This one Proft's eidetic memory is totally making it impossible for me to attack. I needed one of my, you know, one of my pump spells now. They're attacking with this thing, with everything or something like that. That doesn't make any sense here. They can make blocks, and this is not even. The only thing I can do is just pass. But they have another clue token in here. This is just insane with this enchantment. Okay. Have your 6/6. I'm not gonna jump it here. And I have to just, I just have to turn this thing face up. Get the counters. And then do this, and I won't get benefit from the trample, but it's not really gonna do here anything. The opponent also has 5 mana up, 3 colors, 4 cards in hand. He's only gonna be a 5 power creature. So I have no 6 power creature to even try to deal with that stuff. And I drew another land here. I don't have a good attack. I need my other radical or some ridiculous stuff like that. I think I have basically barely any chance to win the game. I haven't attacked more than once or so. They are at 18. I was really thinking that I'm gonna get something with this on turn 5, but they played a 4/5. And then they played this, making it a 5/6. So all the time I was missing out on the possibility to use even the hard-hitting question on any relevant target here. I have to turn this thing face up just to use my mana and hope to draw some non-lands here. But I think they're gonna have instant speed interaction. And I just draw these lands, so there's nothing to do here. I mean, I can't attack into this board. I can jump block the 6/6 once, but that's not gonna... Yeah, that's that. So, pick your poison. Definitely using that. And I'm happy I have one of the creepers in here. And. So, I could even play another pump spell. I don't necessarily need the inspectors in this matchup. Based on what I saw, at least. I'm gonna have the pump spells. I don't wanna be in the same situation I just was in. And I could still play an alibi, but I don't think I'm quite going there. I haven't seen this card even once. Alright. This is it. I'll use this deck. Okay, so it's one of these. I can either have a 5-lander or a 2-lander. Now this will be a good hand if I get the third mana, because I need to disguise this, which will then give me the fourth mana for this thing. Okay, that's that. Inspector. Okay, though they have a fine start, but it's still only 2 damage per turn. At least they didn't have the annoying enchantment. Okay, that will be doing something at some point, but before any of that happens, I'll have this, and I can flip it. I can play the Yarusat. Well, maybe even now if I just draw a land, which I did. Okay, so I'm gonna actually draw a card here, because this is a face down creature, and when I deal combat damage to a player with it, I get to draw a card. Pretty fantastic. They will attack into my Yarus. Well, I'm never going to block here. Too risky, and this is too good. Okay, so I will be playing this face down, of course, and then I have mana up for a... I would really be tempted to have mana up for the Airtight Alibi, of course. Well, you know what? I'm going to be playing here a little bit slower. I think the Alibi will be very useful this turn. That thing can't be countered, so that's gonna do its thing. So is this worth even having the Alibi? I guess it is. Just to deal a bunch of damage in here, and then this won't get stunned. So I'm gonna do it. And now am I going to use hard-hitting question on a 2/4? It is my only removal spell, but do I need... I guess if they have the 4/5 again. Yeah, I'm going to actually... Also, I use my mana in a weird way. If I want to use this... I'm not sure if I even want to... Well, this won't untap, so I'm gonna get the land. Yeah, sure. Because of course face down creatures are valuable here. Alright, they have that thing, which is fine. Discard 2 or discard an instant or sorcery or a flyer, okay. Now they have 2 mana left. This won't be untapping, so I'm gonna get the land. Okay, that's fine. Mountain for me. And then, of course, that is a good one for sure. But... Yep. Face down, this will have haste and couple of pump spells. Even the hard hitting question for post-combat stuff. So I could actually deal almost lethal. I could deal 11 to them. but it's not enough, so I won't be doing that. I'm gonna draw a card in here, and I will be getting rid of which one of these. This can only attack if they have... Well, they can just crack this clue to make it attack. It has the most power here. But this thing has vigilance. If they have another one on the job, it won't be enough at all. Maybe the vigilant creature is what I need to kill here. Because then if they attack with these ground guys, they really are not gonna survive my counter attack. And I don't think they can deal extra 7 here. From these colors at least. Especially because they do need to draw a card somehow before this can even attack. It does have vigilance though if they do, so maybe I was supposed to. Well no, I want to force them to use the clue or whatever card draw effect they have to even enable the attack on the Jaded Analyst. They can stun one of my guys, which will be the Yarus, but it doesn't really matter at this point when they are at such a low life total. If they're gonna tap out, I have a pretty safe attack here. Because with the strength and the chases on, that's gonna be what, 6 power extra trample first strike damage. Even if I'm just having a 2-2, that will be what, 8 power trample with first strike. If they tap out. If they don't tap out, it's gonna be riskier, but they wanted to deal at least a 3. I don't think they're gonna attack with the Inspector, but they can attack for... They're gonna move the thinking cap, but they didn't. Okay, let's take 3 in here. And then I could even play safely having the Clint Weaver in here. But I don't think one blue mana is doing anything in this format. I don't recall all the tricks. There is one thing that can turn a creature into a 4-3 or a 1-1 if you collect evidence, but I think it's collect evidence 6. So I should just go with the attacks in here. And one of these... Oh, this has a ward, so that's even safer to actually... This costs 6. I have 7 mana, so I can't make it into a 5-5 and then give it trample. But this will be enough still. They can't gain any life with the 1 island here. They should actually definitely block the Gardener too here. Okay, well, now with that, I mean, this has ward, so this is gonna be safe. I can do this, and I can do this. Alright, game 3Ds. I just realized a little late that this thing gives haste to any creature, so actually I could have played the Clint Weaver. I think I had 7 mana, yes I did. So I could have played this and have attack with this, but then of course I wouldn't have had mana for any of my pump effects, so it wouldn't have made any sense. It was better to make the victory with my pump spells. I don't think I have any reason to change anything in here. I like the chases on a little bit more than the alibi here, so I'm gonna just have 1 alibi. And I still don't think I need these, even though they have the flyer. I try to outrace them. I have the poison thing for the flyer at least. That is the deck. Oh, this is slow, very slow. But I think the ambusher can still do some work, and I have decent mana here. And the Clint Weaver will be good. Do they have another inspector? Start here, yes they do. Another inspector turn 1, thinking cap on turn 2. Now I am even on the draw, so they will be dealing damage with that guy. I don't mind having these lands, but... Okay, do they have to crack? No, they don't. There's no blue mana yet at least, but maybe they will still have an island in the hand. Okay. I think in this case I'm just playing the Radical on turn 4. It's actually pretty good idea now. I can play the Radical on turn 4. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. Because now I can actually curve out nicely here. With Radical turn 4 and then the Ambusher on turn 5 so that it triggers the ETB and I can use my 4/4 to maybe eat something. And then on turn 6, if I draw the land, I can play just, flip this guy face up. No island yet. Face down card. I think I'm good to go with just attacks in here. I don't mind them trading with the 6/6. I have so much to do with my mana anyway. And I don't actually think they're gonna block. But just in case they do, it doesn't matter to me. I'll have the Clint Weaver for 7 mana, so I don't need to wait to trigger this thing. Okay, there's the island. Now, do they have an attack? This could be a number of things, but I think from these colors it can't be anything too huge, even if they use 5 mana. Okay, well, they are out cold. So that kinda made me fail my game plan. I could bite down on crime. I could have the gardener, but they can... I can't just play my 4/5. Because I saw the mass pump effects from there. The +2/+1 on everything. I need to have a blocker. But if I wanna go with this thing, yeah, I'm gonna play my 4/5. I don't wanna fool around. Let's use this, and I can't pay the ward cost. Oops. This has a good number of toughness, so they need some pretty good stuff to attack into that. And the gardener gives me at least 1 more land, so I'm closer to the Clint Weaver doing its thing. Because I think I need the life to get away from the range of... Okay, they have that. I need to kill this thing. I'm going to 6. Ooh, I can kill it. This thing actually has reach also, so... Oh, I didn't like seeing that. Now I'm going to lose... I'm going to lose the +2/+1 on everything. They even had the Novice Inspector. I was actually liking my chances. Wait a minute, if I kill this, No, they have only 4 blockers. I'm not losing to the +2/+1. Of course, because these things untapped. Sad thing is, I cannot use this and the bite down on crime. Because this will cost 4 mana to get the land, and I need to get the land. And even if I use this as a 2-drop, I won't have mana to do it. So if I attack, I have... No, it is a very simple thing here. This kills this. And that's that. I won't be attacking with anyone. And I just need to... get some lands here. I have a huge set of creatures. I mean, huge creatures and a pretty good number of them too, but it just takes some time to actually utilize them, and I am at a very low life total. This can give me a lot of life. Okay, 2 lands went away. They have 2 cards left, but also, you know, 2 clues in here, so they will have a bunch of things. I really hope to draw a land here. That would guarantee me having the Weaver on the following turn. Okay, this is actually fine too. I can make them sack the flyer. That was a good one. Wow, that was a really good one. So now I can do exactly. This is a sorcery, right? Yep. And not like I'm gonna let them untap. I'm going to do it like this. And I have my land drop by doing it like this. Get my mountain here, and I have still a green mana for attacks a creature with flying. So now I'm almost tempted to attack with one of my guys, but it's at this point, is that going to be worth it? They have a total of 5 power, so actually they can multiple block this guy, and although making them lose the Inspector and 2/1 would be great. So what is the worst that can happen if I attack with the Ambusher? Because I need to win the game. I can't just, you know, keep these guys. I mean, I need to deal some damage. The sad thing is that if they have another one of these out colds, which they could easily have, then I'm in trouble. So I'm not gonna attack with anyone yet. I will wait for a little bit. I will wait at least to resolve this and get a bunch of life. I might even go for the full 8, but I don't think I necessarily need to. I could also... Well, let's see if I can draw the land first. Okay, that's that. That was a good one. That really makes me tempted to do some attacks. They have 5 attackers. If I attack with 1, I'm gonna lose to +2/+1. Oh, that is so annoying. But I really would want to deal some amount of damage here. But I know they have the +2/+1. And if I attack with 1 now, I'm going to be able to block only 3 of these. And I will take 6. I needed this to happen, but now I cannot attack. I can, you know, turn face up my 6/7, and it will of course help me with the life gain from this. I can spread the counters more evenly and still get a fair number of life points. But they of course have drawn a bunch of cards in here, so... So... They still have a bunch of gas here. Okay, now I need to draw a land on the next turn. I need to get the life, because I will be losing to the mass pump effect. There's just no way. Jeez, I couldn't get there. I couldn't get there despite getting 1 extra land from the Gardener. All I needed now is, you know, 8 or 9 life. Yeah, there's not much to do here. I will just lose if they have it, and there's nothing I can do about it. It would have been such a difference getting 8 life here, which I would have gotten. I would have given 1 counter to the Hellion and then spread the rest of them. Okay, that's... Yep, bye-bye. I'm going to block the flyer, and I'm gonna block on the 3/2 here. No, 3/2 is gonna be blocked by this. This is gonna block the... here, and Well, I'm dying to any pump spell. It doesn't even have to be the mass pump. Anything that gives +2 plus. Yeah, okay. Save the most damage or kill a thing. Do I have a lethal attack? I actually have a lethal attack if I somehow survive, so let's do it here, but this is gonna be a pump effect. Yeah, they had done the job. And I could have done a lot different blocks. I could have actually blocked in a way that allows me to play around that, because if I had now 8 more life, and one, not only that, but an additional blocker too. I suppose I played the 4-4. So 8 more, that would make me go to +4 now, but I think I would have been able to do some better blocks, because of course now I lost my team almost entirely. So, I mean, I wouldn't have won on the swing back. But then again, what they had is not only +2, +1 on everyone. They had +3. I mean, yeah, they had +3 power on everyone, because they had both the private eye and that thing. So that was, of course, sick. But yeah, Clint Weaver almost maybe saved me, but couldn't got the 7th mana. Okay, well, that's a 1-lander mulligan. I'll keep it, and I guess in this case, I have to ditch the 7-drop here. I have the Gardener, which is gonna give me the mountain. Well, I don't need that. Well, I'm gonna disguise this thing, but I already got the mountain at least. Okay, that's a good card, especially if I do get to just draw another land. But I guess a spell wouldn't be that bad either. So, if I attack and they block... Well, if they block with the Eavesdropper, I'll just use my Fanatical Strength or the Alibi. Well, let's do this. I think I'm gonna just deal 2 to them. I don't think they have any reason to block. Question is, am I supposed to... No, I'm supposed to do this. I'll take the whatever amount of damage they're gonna deal to me. I have these 3 pump spells, so raising seems like a very, very decent idea here. Due diligence. Well, that's a bunch of damage. Am I gonna take 9 or jump for 4? Now this will be back to 2-2 when it's their turn. Well, tough question. The 2-2 won't really attack that well into this board. So I'm gonna jump and gain basically 5 life by sacrificing this guy. Okay, so now that they have the due diligence, I'm going to in fact disguise this fella here. But am I supposed to attack with both? I think I am, because if they do double, I mean, if they block with the Eavesdropper on the face down card, I can make it 7/7. Yeah, I think it's gonna be worth it. Of course, I'm gonna attack with the Menace guy, and that's fine that they didn't do any blocks. I didn't expect them to actually do any blocks, but this is now fine. I can just let this thing happen. And I'm gonna disguise this. I mean, a 5/5 would be useful, but I do want to get rid of the due diligence, and I will be able to get the 6th land also, so I can do some nice tricks by eliminating this aura. I think, at least. I think that's fine. Now that I did the jump block on the previous turn, that does mean that I can take some more damage now. This thing having vigilance is, of course, a little bit annoying, but I do have this. Yeah, okay, this is fine. It will be only a 3/3 when it's blocking once I use this ability. Assuming this thing survives this turn cycle, of course. I don't have mana for the alibi here, but I can use the fanatical strength. I'm thinking now that if I just played this as a 5/5, I would have a pretty good attack with the double fanatical strength here. Okay, they're gonna accusate. Okay, well, it's a little bit annoying, but I guess I can live with that. Just get the mountain here. Okay, one more land, and again the Clint Weaver could be doing some wonders here. Now this thing does untap. Right, it does. But they can also shuffle it if they have another blue. I think I have to gamble a bit here. I'm going to go with the attacks again. I don't think they're gonna do any blocks, and I'm not gonna do anything right now. And I will, whatever I'm gonna do it on their turn, so I'll let this happen. If they have another blue source, then I at least can't. Well, they don't. This isn't a clue. So I can now hope to do this. I will do this. And do I want to... I think I want to do this. It would be tempting to try to kill the eavesdropper, but I hope they don't have +4 on it. They would. Okay, that is... They're gonna get... Okay, this is fine. They're gonna get one forest on the battlefield, making this into a 5/5. And they... Okay, that doesn't add blue, so they don't have double blue yet. And then I can make this into a bigger creature to actually eat that thing. And now with the stuff I have... Well, I even have the Clint Weaver possibility. Let's be smart. If I attack and they block, they don't block, then I will win. So they can block the 2/2 in here, and then that is actually enough. And I don't have mana to both turn this face up and use the fanatical strength. It would cost 8, and I have only 7. So if I attack and they block on this gardener, what I would have to do is use the fanatical strength on the gardener. They will lose the eavesdropper, so it's fine. But why would I do that when the better option is to just use the Clint Weaver here instead? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give this guy 2 counters, this guy 1 counter. If I give it 5 to here, is this like no, that doesn't make any sense. I could keep this just 1 to make them actually trade and give it 2 in here. It wouldn't be the worst. I mean, they can have the option to trade, but okay, I'm gonna still do it like this. If they want to use 2 blue to shuffle this away, I think I can live with it. My fanatical strength should be victory on the next turn. So let's make it happen like this. So they have to either jump block or take 9. And now I have a 10 life. I have 2 blockers on this thing, and if I have any kind of attacker going through, I have a +3/+3 and trample there. Okay, they can do that, I guess. And now they can actually use the blue. Oh no, they actually can't. This only adds. They don't have 2 blue. They didn't. Oh, why they used this mana for it? They made a mistake. Oh boy, because this now taps for an additional blue or any mana color, but they somehow they tapped the island for that, and they no longer have access to the 2 blue. Wow. Now this won't untap though, so it doesn't actually matter. I kind of forgot it myself too, but I still win with the person of interest here. Okay, they have a double buried and a garden here. I don't win with the person of interest. I mean, this is insane. This doesn't untap. I totally forgot that little thing. I need to top deck something good. Well, I did, so. That's that. I was still, you know, maybe surviving. But because I could have still, make this kill an enchantment, their aura. But it would have been a lot more difficult. Oh. What happened? Well, they had double removals there. That happened. I didn't expect that to happen. But now I know they have buried in gardens in there. I'm gonna pick your poison just to make them remove them. I also have very good use for the vengeful creeper. I saw multiple things I want to kill, destroy with this thing. And how about the airtight alibi? Well, based on what I saw, I think it's gonna be better than the chase is on. Unless I don't really need the inspector. Okay, I think I'm gonna rather get rid of one of the inspectors, but I can't cut all my creatures. I have only 14 of them left. So maybe I have to now just still cut a the chase is on, perhaps. Yeah, I won't be going down to 13 creatures with so many pump effects, so I'm gonna cut that. This is the deck. Alright. 2 lands again, but there's Nervous Gardener. So if I get the 3rd one, and I got, but it would be nicer to not need to draw a specific kind of a card. But as long as I do that, it's fine. Alright, even a 2-drop, so that I don't have to play the Inspector yet. Thin Street Gossip will be useful because I will draw this on the next turn, disguise this thing, and it will get me the mountain. No blocks, I absolutely need to get the mountain here. Eavesdropper. Okay. So I guess I'll attack with them both. I would really like them to block now, because this is a good turn to use the fanatical strength. Otherwise it will be a little bit lackluster turn, I would say. Because now I have the options to play. Well, I guess I can use the hard-hitting question to get rid of their face-down card. Well, that is good. I didn't even realize it's a possibility. I was thinking I have to play a 1-3, which doesn't do much, but no, this is better. I can play the ward cost. And I got rid of a gardener. I guess they might have a need for blue mana, because they did play blue in game 1. And anyway, I'm not taking the 2 damage that they would otherwise be able to do. I might take 4 from this guy still. They are thinking. So they are thinking if they want to crack this clue on this turn. Do they have something that costs more than 3 mana that they want to cast? Could be a Buried in the Garden, but I mean they wouldn't use it on my 2 power creatures. So okay, they chose to crack for 4 and play something cheap on this turn. Because this doesn't have vigilance if they don't get the ability to happen. Alright. Well, I'm gonna play my Thin Street Gossip here. I can attack with the Gardener if I want to, but then I don't really have any... I can't play this thing, so let's just let this turn cycle go like this. Now I totally expect them to have a Buried in the Garden, deal with the Gossip, but then I have my Pick Your Poison, so I get my Gossip back. Yep. Unless they have another enchantment coming up, which I hope they don't, because they get to choose which they sacrifice. I could double block to use some of their tricks. These 2 power creatures don't do much against the Inspector, so I'm willing to either double block on this guy or whatever trick they might be holding. Because I needed to get rid of the fanatical strength anyway. So I will have... I guess I'll just do the Nervous Gardener again. I will be... I guess the other option is to have mana up for the fanatical strength. Because they might have still a good attack on the... so that my Gossip block wouldn't be that great. But I do want to get the land too. They sack an enchantment. And here we go. If they attack with this, I think I am... maybe it's still... do I want to take 3 in here? Well, maybe they just kill it outright. Yep. No need to worry about that. They did collect evidence, so they have something else. Now, if I had a +3/+3, that would have allowed me to survive. But... I will get 2 life from this, because I will be collecting evidence. And then I will... have this thing up, and I might still get back into the game with the extra cards given by the case here. Inspector, they could have done that pre-combat to make this deal more, but they chose not to. Okay, so 6 mana. If I want to play this, it's kind of annoying that I don't have mana for all this, but I think this is a good turn for the case. Although, maybe it's better to have mana for the fanatical strength. Okay, let's just do that actually. Collect evidence 6, which will be like a 2 plus 4 in here. And who's gonna get the counter? I guess that 2-4 is gonna be more useful than a 1-3. Or I mean, and this 2-2 will be still okay-ish. And then I will have mana up for the strength. It feels like it makes sense, because what I can do now, if they crack this clue, this is gonna be a 4-4, I can double block it, and if they have a trick, then I have a counter trick. That's the idea. And I can take these damage from these other guys. They still don't have the blue mana yet, by the way, which they had in game 1. So they're thinking some, well, could be just thinking about the attacks, but it's pretty trivial. Well, I mean, I guess if they don't have a pump spell, it's not a good idea to attack into this board, unless if they attack with everything to force like a bit of damage. If I don't double block this, they deal a lot of damage from it, and if I double block this, they get to still eat the Inspector and deal 2 to me, but I'll pause until they have done something. Okay, so they have a due diligence on the Inspector. And then there's that, and then there is 6. It's really easy for them to see what I'm having if I double block the Eavesdropper. But it's still the best thing I have here. Maybe they are still putting the Inspector first in the blocker queue. That would be fantastic. But I'm gonna get rid of that guy. They should put the Gardener first in the queue. Now because the Gardener will die regardless. Alright, so I'll just play this. If I will discard the forest, but I might draw another land to play this, or if I don't, I hopefully get to play something at 3 at least. I will be able to get something with these guys. Okay, that is something with these guys, but it's actually more useful now to play this because I can just hard cast that thing on the next turn. There's no way, no reason to go through the disguise business. Okay, so I am at 5. Only 2 blockers, but they need more enhancements for their creatures or removal on my Inspector. Okay, I'm not gonna do anything else than this. Do they have a trample trick? They're not gonna. Okay, well they have a trample trick, but do they have extra? Okay, a lot of tricks there. But I will have a 6/7 now coming up. That is a good one too, but not now. I need to just play my reach guy, and I guess I'm a fool to do this, but I mean, I was definitely not supposed to. Okay, this can't block, so I attack. I was happy to trade with the Inspector, but of course I was supposed to do this while I have mana up, but it didn't matter now. Do they have another Buried in the Garden here? finally they have no attacks. Okay, and finally I will get to solve this thing. That's quite nice. Yep. So let's hope this guy there isn't anything too crazy. I guess I can... Well, let's see how they do this turn. I have 3 blockers, so even if they have a removal spell, I can survive this turn. Well, they didn't at least have a removal spell on the Hellion. So that's a really good blocker, of course. This can be, of course, many things. It can be a 6-7 of their own, it can be... Well, they at least didn't attack. But they do flip this. They kill... that is reasonable to kill this enchantment I had. But now I have good information. Oh, that's gonna be great. So the total toughness they have is 12. This thing, of course, overruns and increases my power. They take 3 from this. They are not gonna double block this. 3 from this, they are at 7. And then I will have this. This is gonna be a 5-5. So this is gonna be 4 plus 6 plus 2. That's 12 plus counters on each, 15. And this is gonna be dealing... they will have like 7 toughness after taking... 7 life after taking this. And then... they can eat this 5 plus 7, 12. I guess they can eat this. Yeah, it's a little too risky, in fact. I'm gonna go with this. And just get a bunch of life in here. I don't need to get that much. I'm gonna make the Weaver into a 5-5. I'm getting 8 life here. That's gonna be fine. And now attacking with the 7-8 doesn't make it. No, I'm not gonna attack now because I have the, you know, the green belt radical attack on the next turn. So unless they have like rat effect right now, they're still fine. That's gonna pick up a counter. And now they have 1 card I don't know about. But I think this is the kind of turn when I will be going for it. Now that I have 11 damage, they have to block so much that if they want to survive, they won't have a lethal counter attack. So let's go. It doesn't seem like they have any castables. It's the priority changes are so quick in here. It's a very tough job for them to figure out what is this thing. I mean, they might think it's a green belt radical, but I think it's just a game lost. But they have to think all the possibilities. What are the face down creatures that allow them to make good blocks and still have a chance to win? This attack is still like somewhat reasonable no matter what. This 5-5 and this 7-8 are gonna eat something. But of course this is going to be something good and they know it. I mean, at least I hope they must make enough blocks to lose a lot of their creatures so that they can't deal 11. But they are not gonna block the double, the menace guy. So they are gonna be at 7 from this. And then that's a lot of trample power. His 5-5 trample, 6-6 trample, 8-9 trample, 3-3 trample. That is a lot. 6 plus 5 is 11 plus 8 is that's 19. 22 trample, not counting this when I can count this as dealing 3 to them regardless. So 22 trample. They have 9, 12, 17. So if they block with everything, they will take 5, go down to 2. But they will lose a lot of creatures. That's that. Okay, I think I did activate some lag is happening here, but yeah, that is it. Enough damage for sure, because this 6-6 came through and they are gonna be at negative, well, -1, but that's all I need. Alright. So I think the deck was quite good, but sadly I did not get to use this guy too much. But it threw me some cards. I didn't get to use the second ability, which is pretty ridiculous as well. But I didn't get to use it at all. And the Clint Weaver was pretty important in there. I wasn't able to benefit from the Culvert Ambusher's ability. I don't think not even once. And this didn't have time to shine. I think I solved it twice, but in the first case I won immediately with the board state I had, and in the second case the opponent had enchantment removal on it. I didn't have this guy. I mean, especially late in the game, top deck this guys, this, and then, you know, draw 3 cards when you turn it face up. It's really good, but I didn't really see it too many times. But yeah, I think this deck has had some potential. I had not that much removal, but still there was the shock, hard-hitting question, the bite down on crime, and of course the pump spells kind of double as removal. I mean, they substitute removal, kind of. You don't need to remove blockers when you can attack into blockers and use pump spells to make your own creature survive. But yeah, 2-1, decent result, and I will see you in the next draft then. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.